Good morning! I just finished getting ready to teach a virtual workshop to a corporate client. And in today's vlog, I really want to show you just what all of that entails. Like, how do I teach it? What do I use? How do I prepare for it? And then maybe there will be some surprises along the way. I really love teaching, and I also love that these companies are investing into their employees when it comes to their mental health. My Watercolor for Mindfulness is my most popular workshop. And based on the popularity, the attendance, and the demand, it really shows that we really need to take care of ourselves. And that's what I want to promote here on my channel as well. That not everyone is going to use watercolor to sell their art. Some people just want to use it to relax, to be more mindful. And so my workshop kind of helps with that. So thank you for joining me, Audrey, your watercolor bestie, and let's get started. All right, so this is my usual setup for corporate workshops. I use Zoom primarily and just use my computer desk. I have the palette that they're going to be using, a stack of paper, paper towel, pen to jot notes, the same brush that they're going to be using, and I have 2 cups of water or 2 jars of water so that I don't have to step away, refill it. And then I just tuck my keyboard away, and my mouse I just have handy because I need to sign into Zoom soon. But yeah, I have a separate monitor as well as my MacBook Pro. By the way, this digital download or digital wallpaper you can download as a freebie. Make sure to check the link in the description. So I have an overhead setup. So this camera here, it's the Sony a6400, and it's on a overhead tripod system, and I love it because it's the perfect setup for overhead demonstrations, and so it gets that top-down view. I also, in terms of lighting, I can go more into detail later, but I have these pancake lights. I have another one over here, and I just have them bouncing off of the white walls that I have. This one's currently not plugged in though, so it's not on. But yeah, so everything is kind of contained right here at my desk, and it's almost time to sign on, so I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so I just finished my workshop and it was really good. There were, I sent out 50 kits, but about 38 to 40 people showed up, and that's pretty good attendance, I think, for these virtual workshops. Yeah, some of the feedback that I got was that it was very relaxing. You didn't need any talent. It wasn't about ability. It was just about relaxing. And that's really what I wanted this workshop to be about. It's called Watercolor for Mindfulness. And yeah, I do believe that watercolors has taught me to really let go of that perfectionism, really just let loose and be okay with it. I think in the very beginning of my journey, I really still tried to make everything perfect. And then there was a period of time where I just didn't want to paint because I was focusing so much on trying to be perfect. And that's just how I grew up too. I was just taught that I always have to be first place, a straight A student, and I kind of was, but it became this like expectation that I put on myself as well. Anyway, it was a really great workshop. I'm so happy. We didn't get to complete everything, but I go over very basic techniques. Like I just do the wet on dry technique, and then we paint some leaves. And then we create a background for our circles of affirmation. And this is actually part of my Skillshare class. So you can try Skillshare free for 30 days if you use my link, and I'll put it in the description box. We created our circles of affirmation, and then I told or shared with them, just what are affirmations and how to come up with them, and then to write them on your circles once you're done. And then our second project is to just create this happy little leaf painting. And so we use that same wet on dry technique to create the background, and then we put a leaf on top, or like a leaf arrangement on top. And the reason why we paint leaves, or I teach leaves, is because I find them very therapeutic too. And I focus more on the movement rather than trying to get your leaves to look like mine, right? I'm really focusing on just how is your hand bending, what are you doing, what is the brush doing, and really going from there. So the only thing I don't like is after a workshop, I just end up with a mess, but that's okay. That happens. Just gotta clean it up. So let's clean it up and then I'll show you what I need to do next. One of the things that I did in my previous studio when I was in a much larger room was that I really needed two workspaces. So one for my computers, which you can see in the back, but then another table like this where I could do painting demos, filming, but also just use it as a workspace. So today I'm going to use this workspace to create the kits that I send to the corporate clients. So when corporate clients book with me, they can choose to have kits provided for them, so I ship them out, or they can just opt out of a kit, or they can provide their own kits. And if they do provide their own kits, I usually ask them, what are you working with, just so that I know, so that if there are any issues I can try to troubleshoot. So let me explain kind of what goes into the kit, and then I have to make about 20 kits today. I have about 8 done, so I just need to make 12 more. First of all, everything goes in a plastic sleeve like this. I know I don't like to use plastic, but I do have like a million of these, so I'm just gonna use them up. The only thing I don't like about them is that they put that sticky part on the like main part of the envelope instead of the folded part. I don't know why they did that, so don't buy this listing. Anyway, so everything goes in this plastic sleeve. So let me explain what goes in there. So first up, paint. So I purchased these paint palettes with a lid. I just put my sticker on top, Watercolor design, and then I give them 5 colors, and it also comes with a little watercolor palette card so that they know what colors they're working with and the names and where they are in the palette. They also get several sheets of watercolor paper, I think about 8. Yeah, and so I take 11 by 15 watercolor pads and I just cut them to size. And within the workshop, we use about maybe 4, maybe 5. Yeah, so they have a few extra just to kind of play around with on their own. Obviously they get a business card and they get a brush. And since I order like a ton of brushes, I just get them in bulk. And as for the paint themselves, I use Winsor & Newton Cotman colors because they're student grade and they're pretty affordable. I know for my pan paints, I use the Lucas brand, but Lucas is also artist quality, so they are a little bit more expensive. And so to keep my costs down, but the quality still pretty decent, I use Winsor & Newton Cotman. So I have all my palettes here. And so something that I do to prepare these palettes is that, I'll wash them. So I'll take the lids off, I'll put the stickers on and set the lids aside, but then I'll wash these and then I'll actually use sandpaper or like a wool cloth, something abrasive to actually prep the surface of this palette, because when you first get it, it's a really slick surface. So when you put tube paint on here, it's not going to adhere to the palette. And so if you rough it up a little bit, it's going to kind of stick there. Although for some reason, the Payne's gray still kind of like moves around. I don't know why. So I don't know if you guys can see that. The Payne's gray right there. It's kind of like shaking around in there. Oh no, it actually fell. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to, put that back in there, squirt some water on it so that it kind of stays put. Yes, I don't know why. It's just the Payne's gray. None of the other paints do that. And I thought maybe it wasn't rough enough, but then I, tested each while I felt it and it's still very rough. So I don't know what's happening, but yeah. So even actually at today's workshop, some people were saying that they don't have Payne's gray, and I was like, oh no. So I wonder if it just kind of like slid out of there, slid out of the palette, and then know where it went. But anyway, so I try to rough it up as much as I can, and then I squeeze the paints on. Let me go do that now. I just got done filling all the palettes. I did realize that I ordered the wrong yellow. So I've been using lemon yellow for all of my kits, and then my most recent order. I don't know why I would do this, but I ordered cadmium yellow hue instead. I mean, you know, they're still yellow. It's just not going to be as bright. That's okay. Let it go. So anyway, the palettes are done. I need to let these air dry, so I just leave them here on the workspace. The only X factor is Aslan, who might, you know, try to jump up, but I'm just gonna close the studio door and hope that it dries before he gets in here. Something came in the mail, so let's open it together. So I got a new keyboard. So I was using the Apple keyboard with the number pad. It was actually gifted to me by someone, so I'm very thankful. But yeah, every once in a while, unless it was plugged in, there would be some delays and lag. And that was very frustrating because when I'm editing videos, I'm all about those shortcuts. And if I can't, you know, do them, it really slows down my productivity. Not to mention that it just frustrates me. So I've been looking into getting a new keyboard. Obviously, it would be nice just to get another Apple one, but they're very expensive. And yeah, and I think they're not as ergonomically designed. And so, yeah, my hands were not having fun. So I got a keyboard, but I also got a new mouse. So let's open that up. So I got a white mouse. I went with basically the same line, you know, this one's white, this one's white. I think they're part of like a whole set. But yeah, I needed to upgrade my mouse as well because I was starting to get carpal tunnel since about 2 years ago, and I continued to use the Apple mouse just because I really like the shortcut gestures. I use them a lot, so I'm gonna be a little sad. It's gonna take me a little bit getting used to not using gestures, but it's okay. It's better than having carpal tunnel. So same thing with the keyboard. I felt like I needed to get something ergonomically designed. So let's go ahead and take these out of the box. So these are actually for gamers. And if you didn't know, I actually used to play a lot of video games growing up. Maybe it was my generation. I also have a younger brother. And yeah, we would just kind of bond by playing video games. Well, that's good. Also, I got a paper cut like earlier in the day after I filmed my intro. I don't know how that happened, but that's what the Band-Aid's for. Ooh, it's very light. It's very, very light. My hands are a little small too, so I like it when the mouse can really fit comfortably in my hand. Okay, so yeah, I think I do need to charge this. So let me go ahead and set this aside for now. I love the way that the keys are. It's not too clicky like a typewriter, but it's like just enough. And the keys just feel very soft. And they bounce back really nicely. The only downside is that it doesn't have a number pad, but it's not like I'm an accountant, so I don't use the numbers all that much. But I do my own budgeting, so it would be nice to have it, but maybe I'll just get like a separate number pad thing. But for now, this is this. Really happy. I do like how it has a little kickstand in the back. Raised just a little bit. So this listing also came with a little arm or wrist rest. So cute. I mean, look at this. It's like I'm painting on a cloud. It's really nice and soft. My only fear is that this will get dirty really fast. So I think I might spray it with a protective spray that I use on my white shoes. So that should make it last a little bit longer. All right, so let me go ahead and put these on my desk, set it all up, get it all charged, and I'll show you what my new desk setup looks like. Here's the setup. It looks so great on my computer. It fits in with my theme very well. Again, this is a lot smaller than I'm used to, and because it's not a Mac keyboard, I have to like relearn some of the shortcuts, but that's okay. I love how it's actually lit up so you can see the pink and blue lights. I think there's a way to actually program them, so I'll have to look into that later. You can also change the color on the mouse. But I like the white, so I'll keep it like that. Yay, I'm really happy. So here's the clickety-clackety sounds. I'm really happy. So the palettes are basically dry. I can kind of gently touch it to make sure that they're dry. I'm gonna go ahead and cover these up with the lid so that Aslan can't touch them. I'm gonna print some labels and package them all together. Let's do it. So the printer is getting ready to print the labels, but remember how I posted about this setup, my closet? Well, I did end up getting a new table. It's a lot more sturdy, and there it goes. I'm really happy with this printer. So let's get these printed and then on to the packaging. I just realized that I didn't have enough mailing envelopes. Oh my God. So thank goodness for Amazon Prime. I did just order them and did overnight shipping. Seriously, thank goodness for Prime. So hopefully they'll be here first thing in the morning and then I can ship out these kits. Well, it's the end of the day. Thank you so much for joining me in today's studio vlog. Even though I didn't get to finish packing all the orders, I will do it tomorrow morning once all the mailing envelopes arrive. Most of my days is pretty quiet. Today was a pretty packed schedule with teaching in the morning, getting my kits ready for another corporate workshop, and then I did some other admin stuff in between. I had to make lunch, and then I had some downtime to myself. And I'm really loving the keyboard and mouse. Just getting used to using, like a PC style keyboard and mouse again. I'm just trying to unlearn everything that I learned for the Mac keyboard and mouse. I definitely miss the gestures that you do on the mouse, but that's actually what was causing my carpal tunnel. So I'm really trying to resist the urge to do those gestures because I can't do them, obviously, on this new mouse. Yeah, every once in a while I have to wear one of those braces for my wrist because I'm feeling that tension in my wrist. So hopefully this will help. And I love the clicking sounds on the keyboard, and I love that light glowy haze of lights that are there. Overall, I really love how my workspace is coming together. So thank you for joining me in my studio. If you liked today's vlog, please push like and write me a comment about something that you were curious about in today's video or other questions you might have when it comes to teaching workshops, online or in person. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel and hit that bell for notifications. And if you really loved today's video, then you can visit my Ko-fi page and buy me a coffee. It's kind of like a tip jar, but I'm also using it as my shop currently. So you can get that digital wallpaper as a download there and support me and this channel. Thank you so much again. I'll see you next time.